Happy New Year!
Damn it, Nick. Why don't you tell me to get a glass too?
What do you mean?
Son of a bitch.
What?
Look at you. You're decked out, all partying up, and I got nothing.
We can't start this episode and by proxy this year on a sour note. All right? So just fucking get over it. We can...
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know, man. You want to do it? You want to do it over?
No.
Okay. Are you? Do you want to know why my champagne looks so milky?
It's because you used white
It's
food
milk.
coloring.
I put milk in a champagne glass.
What kind of a
Tricked you.
psychopath drinks milk out of a champagne glass?
Didn't you say you
I
drink
do. I fucking do.
this morning, right?
I did this morning, yes. Unironically.
Well, David, it is a day to celebrate because as of recording this episode, it is January 1st, 2023, which seems so wild that we're already here in 2023. Yeah, it makes me a little uncomfortable, honestly. I don't know what it is about odd years. I don't like them. I don't trust like that. But how about you? How do you feel about the new year? Are you optimistic?
I am because, yeah, come March, my channel is going to be exploding with shit. I'll tell you what.
All right, I got to stop you right there. The last sentence that you spoke into the microphone and on this podcast was, come March, and then you said your channel is going to explode. I just want to say, in one sentence, you said the words come and explode. I don't know if that was some sort of allusion to something.
No.
Sorry.
No, that was not an ejaculation joke. Starting March, my channel is going to boom.
There you go.
How about that?
Yeah, there you go. No, it's a lot better. I didn't chuckle even once. Yeah, so, well, because what's happening in March? You got isn't 72 seasons out in March?
That's April.
Fuck! Sorry, continue.
But leading up into the album, it's going to be a lot of shit.
Yeah?
And then even afterwards is going to be a lot of shit. I have a plan to release at least one video every week now instead of every 2 weeks.
Like, in general?
Yeah, every Friday.
Wow. Look at you.
Or Saturday. I don't fucking
You gotta
know.
change your YouTube banner then. You gotta say new videos every Friday.
Dude, I do. I still have it where it's like all of them on the same channel. As opposed to just music because I don't do the other two anymore.
Just ever?
Just ever. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, you could become DK Media, just, absorb the other two channels.
I can't. That exists already.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I did not look that up. Which was a really bad,
It's fine.
stupid idea on my part.
It's okay. It's like Doctor Strange didn't have to copyright his name when he became a superhero.
True. But yeah, bro, I'm hitting 1,000 subscribers this year. It's gonna happen.
Whoa! Also a reason for the party hat, right? That's a big deal.
It's gonna happen.
Hell yeah!
See it.
Yeah, put that out into the universe. 2023 is going to be the year that you hit 1,000 subs. And 2023 is going to be the year that I finally release my first, not debut album, because I already have one on Spotify technically. But yeah, I the album that I've been working on for the past 2 years.
Yeah, that's the Genesis thing, where their first album, they made it while they were in school, and they don't really count it. As their first, but it technically is,
Yeah, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be in the new Genesis, like One Piece Film Red.
You're gonna be the Genesis of Genesis.
Do you remember when AVGN made that joke about the Sega Genesis, and he was like, I think it was a Bible Games episode where he was like, they took the Book of Genesis, turned it into a game, and put it on the Sega Genesis, and the soundtrack is made by none other than Genesis, and then it starts playing Invisible Touch, and he's like, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I think about that every time I hear the band name Genesis. I only think about Sega and the nerd.
I only think about Phil Collins hitting his head with the tambourine.
Excuse me?
You know, on Spotify, when we listen to Firth of Fifth, like the video on Spotify was just him like being an idiot with a tambourine.
I do remember that. Was that the night that we went to go see a movie, right?
Probably.
I think because we went out to some theater, like out in the freaking. It was somewhere that we had never really been before, and you were telling me about. Oh God, I forget what we're doing. Nah, it's okay. Eventually, I'll remember. But yeah, man, 2023 is shaping up to be a good year. We even picked out a nice sports car, a rad sports car that we're going to drive into 2023 in style. It is the 2010 Porsche Panamera. So, get a good... I don't know why I'm showing it to the web... I'm sorry. I showed it to the webcam first. They got to see it. Yeah, isn't that nice? We get to drive in this thing. That's going to be sick. And I don't have to pay anyone to let us do it, like all of the other cars before.
Dude, my right ear, it keeps buzzing, and it's really pissing me off.
Is that why you said before we started recording that your headphones are fucked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they are. Like, I'm going to show you first.
Oh! Ew, what the fuck?
Like, the lining around the foam or whatever is just completely gone.
The hell, dude? You gotta warn the people before you show them that.
It's probably why it keeps bleeding into the microphone, but like, dude, these headphones were $400.
Did you have to buy them for school too?
No, I just did it because this is the time when I was walking under a train like every day,
Oh.
And it like in Chicago, it goes off like every 10 seconds, and it pissed me off. So I got these noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
$400.
Ew.
But that was like 6 years ago now, so.
Inflation. They're probably like $600 now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I don't want to get rid of them, but like, yeah, they're just so done.
Yeah. Well, speaking of done, 2022 is over, and figured just like the last episode, we could kind of supersede our usual programming to touch on a couple of movies and albums and maybe even TV shows. I don't know how many TV shows aired in 2022 that weren't anime, and that I saw. But we're going to highlight 2022. It's our 22nd episode, so it's kind of meant to be kind of perfect. It's just a little bit perfect. It's almost the most perfect at the thing I've ever seen. That was my former president Donald Trump impression.
It was good. I understood who you were doing, so
nice.
Good job.
And then we're going to talk about Gen 8, the Pokemon series, Generation 8 games, spin-offs, main series included. Obviously, you have the games that kicked it off, Sword and Shield, and then a couple of spin-offs after that, including a number of... What is that? Oh, my God.
Grookster.
All right, no, hold on. You keep talking for a little bit.
Yeah, dude, Gen 8, wow, what a giant... I forgot how many games actually came out in Gen 8. It's ridiculous. We got, like, the Mystery Dungeon remake and the main games, and they have DLCs, and there's Arceus, and there's something else that I'm forgetting. It's too many games.
Did you get Mystery Dungeon?
I did.
Okay. Well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Diamond and Pearl remakes. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, a lot happened in Gen 8, which is a little upsetting because that means that we have more to talk. Not upsetting that we have more to talk about, but it's just, now that we're on the Switch, there's a lot more expectations for the games, and as we talk about Scarlet and Violet 2, I'm sure we're gonna cut into Game Freak and Nintendo's sort of production cycle on these games. But first, how's your New Year's? You were telling me a little bit that you watched a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we're watching Stranger Things, and we watched Inglourious Bastards because I felt like it. We played Beatles Rock Band, Beat It.
Wait, Beat It?
Yeah.
They got Michael Jackson in that game? I'm kidding. 2023 is going to be a funny year.
And then we ate a bunch.
Yeah.
Ate a lot of stuff.
I also ate a lot of stuff and threw most of it up. Yeah, it was not a good time. And it wasn't even because I wasn't tipsy. I wasn't drunk. I had a couple of drinks, but I went into the evening with a headache. My buddy cooked all of us steak, which was super salty and peppery. He also ordered wings from It's Just Wings, so I had a couple of those. We got burgers from B-Dubs. I had chili tater tots from there. Bagel bites out of the oven. And then we had some desserts, because one of the guys that came over works at a bakery. His family owns a bakery, so he brought over some like turnovers and scones, and yeah, and I flew up.
I swear to God, I'm pretty sure you threw up last year too.
I did throw up last year on New Year's. That was because I drank too much. So kids listening to this podcast, I hope there aren't any kids listening. Don't drink too much, but if you do, make sure it's on New Year's, because then when the new year hits, all of the bad things that you did in the previous year reset. So you don't have to worry. If you only get drunk once a year, make sure it's on New Year's, because then, it's 2023, baby. No throw up this year. Woo! Sorry. I'm sorry if that was super realistic. I don't know why I did that, but anyway. So, we hope everyone out there had a nice and safe and good new year. We're both very excited for the new year to come and explode all over us. It's going to be awesome. But let's dig into some highlights. So I think first and foremost, we got to talk movies, right? Because I, for one, have been seeing on a lot of different channels on YouTube top movies of 2022, worst movies of 2022, and I've seen a lot of lists and compilations of stuff, but I want to hear your thoughts, because a lot of movies in 2022 we saw it together and talked about on this channel, actually. So on this podcast.
Yeah, one of them for me at least.
Yeah, in your top movies?
Yes.
Can I guess what it is?
I mean, you saw my post.
Is it Top Gun Maverick?
It's Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, I guess we're starting at number one. All right, yeah, Top Gun Maverick was my favorite movie of the year because, goddamn, it was just really well shot and really intense, and it was just so much better than the first one. It's like the Terminator 2 effect.
Yeah.
Where it just kind of, the first one's fine, but like this is the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, especially in the theater, like I think that's what really helped.
Yeah. It's definitely a blockbuster. Like it's not like, I don't think it's going to win any awards or anything, but as far as going to the movie theater to have a good time, like unadulterated, no frills, no like, I guess all frills, but no, it's all killer, no filler, Although I will say I wasn't super invested in the whole romance part of the story with fucking Tom Cruise and the character who is not the original love interest from the first movie, but instead a love interest who was a single line, like a throwaway line in the first movie.
Labyrinth Lady.
Yeah, I didn't really care too much for that subplot. You do get to see Miles Teller shirtless with abs and a mustache. So that's cool to anyone who is interested in Miles Teller.
I don't know, man. I like him. I like Miles.
Yeah, he's a good looking dude.
Only because of Whiplash, obviously.
Obviously, but I mean, other than that, I also remember walking out of that movie thinking that the third act was kind of it didn't feel like a Top Gun movie anymore. It kind of like once they were out of the plane and then it became like an escape from, this unknown country that they're in. It kind of turned more into like, oh, so this guy's done spy movies since he was in a plane last time. So it kind of threw me off guard, but again, it was still enjoyable. I had a really good time with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't have my movies in any particular order because I haven't really thought about it too hard. I mean, because most of the movies that I've gone to see are either like anime movies or Marvel movies, at least in theaters. So, you wanna do your number 2?
Yeah. So runner up was The Black Phone, which
with Ethan Hawke.
Yes, Ethan Hawke.
Bruh.
Doing a lot better than the last performance I saw him in, which was Moon Knight.
Yeah, he was just super boring in Moon Knight, but not super boring in this movie, right?
Yeah, no, he comes back after we were just talking about Sinister being like the scariest movie ever, right?
Yeah.
And he's in that too, so he's back again in horror and just totally slapping it. Like, it was a very clever idea what they did. I don't know if you saw it.
I did not see it.
Okay, well,
no spoilers. Please.
Okay, I will not spoil it then.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, it involves a phone.
Yeah.
And a kid.
What color is the phone?
It's black. Believe it or not.
Just kidding.
Yeah, and then then we got Ethan Hawke with the mask, and he's a crazy man, and the kid's got to get away from the crazy man, and the phone is used in a really cool way, and it's good ass suspense, which it was.
Well, because it's more of a suspense than it is like a horror movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, it's not scary or anything, but horror thriller is just kind of like it's like together now.
Yeah, it's kind of like action adventure, like how they kind of blend together. It's like Uncharted, is it an action game? Is it an adventure game? It's like, it's both, It's like horror, thriller, action, adventure.
I mean, isn't everything an adventure thing,
Basic, in one way or another,
Unless it's like
super bad
Saw or any movie that takes place in like one room, like Reservoir Dogs or something. That's not an adventure, I suppose. But
wait, does Reservoir Dogs happen in one room?
Yeah, I mean, like 90% of it does.
I was gonna say, do they not go outside? Because I think I've seen clips of them walking outside.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, like 90% of it is in like one room.
You know what they call that in TV? Fucking bottle episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like The Fly. You've seen The Fly, right? You seen that episode yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been wanting. Okay, so quick aside, I am just about to finish season 4 of Breaking Bad. I only have 17 episodes left. And I want to talk about it so much on the podcast and give weekly updates, but nah, man, I got to save it all for inevitably when we do our Breaking Bad, re-evaluation. Because then we could actually talk about spoilers and stuff. Because at the time, I think we mostly just talked about, like, Aaron and Brian's tequila, right?
Yeah, definitely brought that up. But yeah, anyway, Black Phone's good. And third place is Barbarian, which is another thriller, but definitely more leaning into horror, this one.
Yeah.
Because at any time one of these movies comes along where it's like, the less you know about it, the better, that they're always fun.
Yeah.
Because, the trailers, it's like, okay, 2 people end up at the same B&B unexpectedly, and like that's all you know, and there's some creepy shit in the basement.
Sure.
And it just goes so bananas. It's really great. Like mid-movie, there's a cut. It's like one of the biggest what the fuck moments like of the year. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun and a lot of things happened, and it was a blast.
Yeah, dude, that stresses me out. You just saying there's a cut and then what the fuck. So, you know how Wikipedia will have articles that are like, oh yeah, 2022 in film, and it'll show you like the highlights. I'm trying to remember what movies I even fucking watched this year. And they don't do that. They don't do that on Wikipedia anymore. They don't show you the highlights. So I'm pissed because I don't remember much. Because we saw Top Gun. I liked Top Gun. We also saw Dragon Ball Super Superhero, which I know was on your list at some point. Maybe like
it was
7?
like 9 or something.
Yeah, which I really liked. I think I like Broly better.
Did you see Nope with us?
Huh?
Did you see Nope with us?
No. I have not seen Nope yet. I also haven't seen Us, so honestly, I could do that whole trilogy again. I think I should. Just
I know because we watched Chip and Dale. That was this year.
Right? Yeah. We did watch. We watched Chip and Dale, Doctor
Sonic
Strange,
2. Sonic 2,
Sonic 2, Thor: Love and Thunder, feckin'. Wasn't there another movie? Oh yeah, Wakanda Forever. Yeah, Black Adam, Morbius. I know. Shoot, I mean, there were movies that I watched this year that came out previous years, but I only saw for the first time this year. Like, I really liked Parasite. I just saw it for the first time this year. That's really fucking good. I saw Tick Tick Boom, which was the musical about Jonathan Larson, I think is his name, the guy that wrote Rent, and about his like first musical that he ever wrote. And that was pretty good. What's up?
Lighthouse.
Did not see Lighthouse.
Or I don't know why I'm saying Lighthouse. Lightyear, not Lighthouse, you dumbass.
I mean, there are houses in Lightyear. I'll give it to you.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, that was 2022.
It was.
Goddamn. Turning Red. I really liked Turning Red.
Turning Red, yeah.
That made me tear up a little bit. I don't know.
Studio 6. 6.
Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, I did not, like, upon revisit, like, in my brain and clips that I've seen, I don't really care too much for Studio 666. I missed X. I missed Pearl.
All right, Nick, so what the fuck, bro?
What did I see? I don't know, man. I saw One Piece Film Red. I'm trying to think. There was a movie that I was like, you should probably see it in theaters. Other than Top Gun. No, I was thinking about Bo Burnham. I was thinking about Inside. Yeah, dude, I don't know.
All right, Nick, well, out of those that you just listed, what are the top 3?
Top 3? All right, in no particular order, I'm putting Turning Red up there because I watched it a couple of times. One with my mom, my bonus mom, my little sister. It was a bunch of moms in the room. That made me tear up. And then I had the songs from the soundtrack stuck in my head for a while. That was fun. I'll put Dragon Ball Super up there also, just because like I like the animation style. I'm a simp for Gohan. And I always think about how my little sister is going to react watching it, and I hope she really thinks that Special Beam Cannon is cool, because I can see kids at school, like, how every once in a while you'll try like the Kamehameha and you'll try to like when I would play at the daycare that I grew up going to, I had a group of friends that we would go around picking Dragon Ball Z characters to be, and we charge up and we do the and the fighting and the Kamehameha, but no one ever did the Special Beam Cannon. So I'm hoping that my sister becomes one of those kids that's like, you guys know, you get it. Oi, what the fuck else, dude? I didn't even see the Weird Al movie like I wanted to. That pisses me off.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know if I have a third one that I actually saw that I really liked. Yeah, dude, I'm helpless here. I am no help.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I honestly starting this year, I'm going to make a note of every movie that I watch that was released this year, cuz you already do that.
That's what I do.
That's what you do, and it helps with this kind of content really really a lot. I think I got to do it with the albums too.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I don't know. Was 2022 a good year for movies? I think so. I mean, I think it's always hard to say like definitively because there's so much good stuff that comes out any given year. I just have a feeling that like I know on your list it was not even an honorable mention, but I know a lot of people in 2022 were talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
No, it was a dishonorable mention because that movie fucking sucked.
Wow.
I hated that movie.
That is a hot take if I've ever heard one.
Fuck Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Or a hot dog take, like they have the hot dog fingers.
No, yeah, I had that on dishonorable mentions along with piece of shit Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Did you remember that there was a Texas Chainsaw movie that came out this year?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
It was whatever, honestly. I mean,
I was waiting to see what you thought, but yeah, man. I mean, I guess that's. Do you remember anything that came out in TV in 2022?
TV. I mean, we had the Better Call Saul finale.
I think we had season 3 of Barry
4.
too.
Yeah, Barry season 3 was this year. My Hero, I guess, is part 1.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of
it.
anime. Like I fucking love Chainsaw Man and Mob Psycho season 3 that aired this year.
Oh yeah, I think Cobra Kai was this year too.
Oh yeah. Was
solid.
Stranger Things this year?
It was.
Yeah, because that was with Vecna. Also Squid Game, right? Was that 2022 or was that?
Squid Game was last year.
Yeah, because I remember a lot of people were getting ready for Halloween with Squid Game. So I don't know, man. I wish I could contribute more to this conversation because I know I suggested the idea in the first place, and I just don't remember anything.
It's fine. That's happened to me many times on this podcast already.
Yeah. So anyway, now I think we could pivot gears a little bit. Same sort of idea, but
jail.
All right. So this topic I can actually speak on a little bit more confidently. But 2022 in music, specifically like albums, because I'm sure we had this is going to be the list that's very different between you and me because we both listened to very, very different albums in full.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go first while I try to sift through a list of
all right. Well,
albums.
we're not going to do it backwards this time. So starting at 3, actually I'm just going to go grab it.
Okay.
It's right behind me anyway.
Oh, I'm going to sneeze. God damn it. I didn't sneeze, David. I didn't sneeze at all. What a rude. I don't care. It's fine. It actually really bothers me when I want to sneeze and then I can't sneeze, but I guess there's nothing I can do about it now.
Jail.
Do you have a feather duster that I can borrow really quick?
No.
That's fine. Continue with your list.
My number 3 album was Impera by Ghost. So, Ghost is it's my second favorite band running right now.
Okay.
And everything they put out, I really like. Mm-hmm. This is their 5th album, and in my ranking of them, this is only number 4.
Yeah.
But despite that, it's still my 3rd favorite album of the year because the first half is so goddamn good. I don't care that the second half isn't. Everyone knows Ghost because they're like, they dress up, and you think they're gonna sound like fucking.
Right? What was that?
You think they're gonna sound like,
Oh, thank you. I thank you for that.
and then you listen to them and it's like poppy almost.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was a song on that album that was trending on TikTok for a while. I think it still is, the Bloody Mary song.
Oh no, that was like just a single,
Oh,
which I don't like that song, to be honest.
that's fair.
But yeah, it's just there's the way they write, or yes, he writes, because it's mostly Tobias Forge doing everything. But just the way he writes some songs, it's just so catchy, and it sounds good. It's really well produced, and yeah, it's just I don't know. I really like it. What else can I say?
Yeah.
But yeah, but like the second half of the album, it does have some songs I actually just like don't like, which it's very interesting because not many bands will like write songs that I absolutely love,
Yeah.
but then songs that I just kind of fucking hate. So very interesting. But yeah, that's number 3. Number 2 is Rashomon by Ibaraki.
Oh, is that Matt Heafy's side
Yes.
project?
Yes, it is. This is Matt's side trivium thing. And, you know, as I just mentioned that Ghost is my second favorite band today, Trivium is my first. And probably my first favorite band ever, to be honest.
Yeah.
And this is not them, but it has all of them on it, but it's not technically Trivium, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot heavier than what Trivium does themselves. What the fuck are you just looking at your phone this whole time, bro?
So I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember, because there are some songs that I listened to a lot this year that came off of albums from last year, and I was trying to think in my head. Yeah. Anyway, you have my full attention. I'm here. I'm with you.
Okay. Yeah, it's very brutal, but like the things I like the most in it are like the clean parts, because Matt's got really good at singing, and like every time it goes to like a clean part on this album, it's just it hits so good, and then plus it has the song Ronin, which I think is just a straight masterpiece, minus the edgelord, but he's only in it for like a little bit.
And I think he only screams too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the whole second half of that song, holy shit, it's just it's so good. But yeah, man, anything he does, I'm just gonna absolutely love.
Same thing as the number 1 spot, as far as anything that they do.
Exactly. Yeah.
I watched your video. I fucking
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
your videos, dude.
Yeah, you already know, man. You already know what the hell my list is.
Yeah.
But yeah, number 1 is Light Work by Devin Townsend. And well, it's such a soothing album to listen to.
Why did it sound like you were going to say something different? I thought you were going to say it's such a fucking good album.
It is such a fucking good album, but like it's listening to it in full, I think, really helps, you know. It's definitely more about the experience rather than the songs individually.
Yeah.
Like if I was to like do my 10 favorite songs of the year, I'm not sure if any of them would even be in the top 10.
Wow.
But like together, like it's just the way it just flows and sounds. It gives me a nice feeling because it's kind of a lot more along the lines of like what's the word? It's more accessible than a lot of his other stuff, where it can be like kind of crazy. Although it does get pretty crazy, like this, like the bonus album Nightwork has some crazy shit on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I wasn't blown away the first time I heard it, but the second time I heard it, I was. And
that's all
from there on out.
It was just the 2 times.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to it on headphones the second time, and then it just was totally different.
Yeah, that's always interesting, is just how much an album changes depending on like how you listen to it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's cool. So like your sort of general genre preference for your top three. I always think like whatever new albums you listen to in a given year kind of reflect what your like favorite genres are, you know? Because again, our lists are going to be very different because I haven't listened to any of those albums, you know, and I don't think you've listened to any of mine until, you know, we do another sort of swap where instead of playing Persona 5 and Breath of the Wild, we're listening to, you know, this album or that album. Honestly, we should probably just do that once a month. Just like give each other an album to listen to, you know, and then we can do like a video at the end of every year, and it's like, all right, out of the 12 albums you gave me, here's how I ranked them.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I did make you listen to The Stranger, which I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, you knew like a lot of those songs already anyway.
Yeah, like we do that pretty regularly anyway, just like if there's a single song or something. But I think it could be a cool, just sort of reaching out and getting a new sort of perspective on you know, certain songs. Yeah. Let's go ahead and reset this meeting before we time out.
So
we got 2.5 minutes.
2 minutes till the meeting's over. It's almost bedtime, dude. 45 minutes. I have to be asleep. Not asleep, but like laying in bed. But I don't think that's gonna happen because Gen 8 has like 40 million goddamn games. It's crazy. It's crazy. We're not doing our favorite games this year because we didn't play shit.
Huh.
Now I was telling the people how we're not, because we're doing like our favorite albums and movies, but we're not doing our favorite games because like we didn't beat anything this year, barely.
Yeah, dude. I feel like favorite games this year has just been. I know what my favorite game of 2022 is, but we're already talking about it on this episode. We can do honorable mentions though, like if there's, you know, really quickly.
Yeah. Anyway, your favorite albums are?
Yeah. So in no particular order, only because quick.
What a cop out, dude.
I know. Okay. Well, I can try to put them in order. But I wanna always relay this message from. I forget if it was a video that I saw or if it was like a blog post or something, but oh no, it was a YouTube video and it was talking about favorite movies, and someone was talking about Ghibli movies, and they brought up the conversation. They started the video by saying, have you ever been in a conversation where someone asks you like favorite movie of all time, and it's like trying to pick like a favorite child? It's like, well, you know, if I want to watch like a romance movie, like I'll put this on, or if I'm in a like a horror mood, I'll put this on. So like it always kind of changes, and it's kind of tough to have like a favorite for the rest of time unless you have some like personal connection to it. Because I know we've talked about our favorite bands and like our favorite, you know, video games, and it's like no matter what else comes out, like those will always be on top for the most part. So instead of thinking, you know, favorite things of all time, this person phrased the question a little differently, and they were like, instead try to ask someone like, what's your favorite movie right now, or like what's your favorite game right now, you know? And it's like that can always change, and it's like it kind of reframed the way that I think about favorite things and how I rank them in a personal way, because, you know, sometimes I don't want to listen to my favorite album of all time, you know? Like some days I don't want to pop in like Reliant K's Forget and Not Slow Down, even though I've gone on record several times saying that it's my favorite album of all time. Pun totally intended. Going on record. Insert record scratch. But my favorite albums this year, out of everything that I listened to, are all relatively surprising picks, because I didn't think I would enjoy these bands and artists. But yeah, I was about to pull out Sob Rock because I have it on vinyl, and I thought that came out in 2022. Nope, came out in 21.
Nope. Yep.
Yeah. But in number 3 was an album that I listened to like fairly recently. It's Beatopia by Biba Doobie. Yeah, and Biba Doobie is she falls under the category of artists that write super intimate, like ukulele or guitar pop, and then they get into all sorts of other genres through that, but it's mostly like there's a little bit of like garage rock in her music. There's a little bit of like electronic, like 1975-esque sounds. Like she even collaborates with Matt Healy on one of her songs on Beatopia. But yeah, dude, let me just double check to see if it actually came out in 2022. But yeah, I have been playing her song, what is it called? Talk, like the past bunch of days now. It's just on the top of my like liked songs list on Spotify. And I listened to the whole album down, and it definitely gets better as it goes. Like it starts in kind of a weird place, but it gets really, really good like towards the middle. Yeah, so number 2, I'm gonna say it. I really liked Pool Kids. Like I really liked Pool Kids' debut. I think it's their debut. Either way, it's their self-titled. And as far as like album structures go, I remember, because this is what I'm basing my list on. It's like, what albums have I listened to in full, and have I gone back to listen to in full like multiple times? And that's one of them. Just because I feel like the production is super solid, and like the songwriting is very consistent. And it's got a lot of good stuff on there, like a lot of really good tappy guitar lines and vocal call outs and stuff like that. And unlike Beatopia, like the sound, the production, and everything is super consistent. So it's pretty much like you can tell it's the same band playing the entire album. And it only kind of reinforced that seeing them live. I think it just helped my opinion of those songs, because I'm like, oh yeah, they can do that shit for real too. Kind of like what Somewhere City was for me, like when we saw Origami for the first time. So I really like that album and that band. But my number 1 album of the year that came out this year, and really quickly, while you give me a drum roll, please, maybe, I gotta look up. I gotta look up if this came out. Yeah, okay, it did. Is 5 Seconds Flat by Lizzie McAlpine. I ended up listening to her song Erase Me featuring Jacob Collier last year, and I fell in love. And I was like, holy fuck. I thought it was a Jacob Collier song featuring Lizzie, but no, it was the other way around. And I found out that he didn't produce the track either. He just contributed vocals and stuff to it. And ever since then, she's been like more and more on my radar. And when I finally found out that her album had come out, I just remember wanting to start that from the beginning so many times. And I would get to the end, and I would listen to Orange Show Speedway. I think it's the Orange Show Speedway. Yeah, and it just felt like I went on a whole journey, like a sonic journey from like beginning to end, and like it felt very like well thought out. And there are features on the album, but it doesn't distract from like Lizzie as an artist, like first and foremost. Yeah, I would absolutely go see Lizzie in person. I'm not sure if you would like her music, but honestly, if I am able to find 2 tickets to a show of hers, like, and you would be down to go see just a single, like, I think she has a band, but it's a genre that I don't think either of us are super familiar with. I mean, it's this, like, it's very similar to Biba Doobie, where it's, I not to lump all of these artists in together, but it's kind of like the Billie Eilish effect, where it's a small artist. Hold on. It's a relatively small indie artist that starts recording songs on YouTube and releasing songs onto YouTube, but it's just them and a ukulele or them and a piano or a guitar, and then they write these songs that feel very personal and like visceral, you know, and the way that they sing into the microphone is sometimes super up close, and it's a very specific sound. I call it bedroom pop just because a lot of the times it feels like it was mixed in the box too, like some of my covers that I've put out on YouTube. Not nearly as polished as some of these other artists, but yeah, so I'm very curious as to see what her live shows look like. But yeah, dude, I'm just surprised that so many albums that came out from artists that I really like, I didn't care too much for. I listened to the 1975's new album. I think it's Being Funny in a Foreign Language is the name of it. It was okay. I listened to Ed Sheeran's new album. It was fine, you know, like all of his albums are. Let's see. Who else had a new album this year that I listened? Oh, yeah, Harry's House. It was okay. I think that was like my go-to for a little while. And then now I listen back to it and I'm like, some of these I don't love as much as I did. Yeah, I don't know. I will say though that the Foo Fighters, what they recorded for Studio 666 was pretty fucking good.
Dream Widow.
Yeah, the Dream Widow EP album.
EP.
Yeah, it was really good. And then you know, Return and Arrival or Depart are also really good from Origami Angel. But what do you got? Oh, you're just putting your albums back? Oh, shit!
You didn't see that I got this?
What?
Yeah.
No?
Christmas from Haley.
Woo! What does the record look like? Is it red or is it black?
I think it's just black.
Are there any cool liner notes?
Yeah, it's just black. Liner notes? No, it's just like the lyrics in the back. Yeah, dude. You got it.
Yeah. Oh, also another honorable mention. I liked Look Alive by Early Eyes, which is actually an album that I think we listened to, or at least I think I finished it for the first time with you because I hadn't finished the last like couple of songs. Yeah, and it's a good time. I'm learning that my music taste is ever changing. It's like water or like mud, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a mudslide. It's kind of solid, but it always kind of shifts around. So
I got like 10 honorable mentions. Dawn FM was number 4.
yeah, Dawn FM. Oh, well, because of 3 songs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think all 3 of those songs would be in my top 10 songs of the year.
Wow.
I love those songs. And then you got the fucking Lil Wayne one. It just makes me want to kill myself.
Yeah. So you know the give and take, positive and negative.
Yeah, bro. Rush in Circles. Fucking. I don't know what else. Yeah, Origami Angel you mentioned already.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff. Honestly, I think I enjoyed this year for music more than I did for movies and TV. Also for TV, I wanted to mention Jenna Ortega kind of has been blowing up recently because of Wednesday. And she's being considered one of the like this generation's scream queen. You know, the same way that what's her face from Scream, like in the 90s, was a scream queen for a while.
Drew Barrymore.
Oh yeah. Drew Barrymore. Oh, who's the main character?
Oh, Sydney. I don't know what her real name is.
Yeah, Sydney Prescott. But we'll remember. We'll remember eventually. Yeah, dude. But I didn't see Wednesday. I can't speak to its success, but I heard the CG is really interesting. Apparently, they use a Plants vs Zombies zombie as one of a transformation later in the thing. Anyway, so with all that being said, I think 2022 was a pretty good year, and we still have a couple of things, or at least one thing, in the next section of our podcast that came out in 2022. But really quickly, we got about 8 minutes until my camera resets. Do we want to talk honorable mentions for video games?
Do you have any?
Me?
Yeah. Because, okay, I've played 4 games. I've beaten 4 games.
Okay.
Last year. And besides Pokemon, those are Lego Star Wars and Kirby. And Kirby was good. Lego Star Wars was not so much.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I also have not finished God of War yet. So.
Yeah, I got what do I got? I don't think I've beaten a single game that came out this year except for Pokemon. At least like completed a game. I'm trying to think. Nope, I got nothing. I did buy the Cowabunga collection for the Ninja Turtles. That's pretty freaking cool. I would have said that I beat Shredder's Revenge, which came out this year or last year, but I pre-ordered it, the physical version, in July, and I only found out afterwards that Limited Run Games, it's the company that they do a lot of physical releases for things that don't get physical releases, but every time that they do, the product is made to order. So it's basically they take stock of everyone that's pre-ordering this thing, and then they close the pre-order window, and then they're like, all right, time to make everything. So they don't waste resources, but it takes significantly longer to release the actual product. So I just got an email like 2 days ago saying, or no, it was yesterday, saying that it shipped. So I should be getting it this week. So I guess it might go on my 2023 list of games that I've played. But we'll see. So.
But yeah, main event time.
Main event time. Sorry, I had to say that when the camera was on. So I honestly really like Sword and Shield, but granted, I should say I really like Gen 8 in general. And I think this little guy is one of those reasons. For those of you listening, I have a little plushie of Score Bunny that I got from pre-ordering the game. And David has...
Grook. I got a Grook.
The Grook man.
The Grook
yeah, your
Meister.
plush is significantly bigger.
He's got a drumstick in his head.
Yeah, dude. I think, like, Decidueye and Rowlet are your boys, but I think Grookey was literally made for you.
Yeah, basically.
Who knew that that Grookey would evolve into a literal rock drummer?
Who, whenever he Dynamaxes, turns into fucking Neil Peart.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. But I remember. So we're talking Generation 8 of Pokemon, which is going to be interesting because this generation had a lot to it. It was a very busy couple of years, with the release of Sword and Shield first in November of 2019.
Yeah.
And then, he does not want to... He does not want to stay on my hat. Yeah, this is obnoxious.
Goodness.
Yeah. Gotta pose for the thumbnail. But yeah, so we had the release of Sword and Shield in 2019. We had... Let me do the timeline really quickly. We had Pokemon Home, which doesn't really count. Pokemon Rescue Team DX, which was the deluxe version of the original Red and Blue. We had Isle of Armor DLC, the Crown Tundra DLC for Sword and Shield, new Pokemon Snap, which neither of us really played, but it's fine. Pokemon Unite, which I played too much of. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and then Pokemon Legends Arceus released within a year of each other. No, just about a year of each other. And that's it. So starting right away with the mainstays of the series, we got Sword and Shield. And I remember Sword and Shield being good games was so important because these were the first mainline games to be released on the Nintendo Switch. And leading up to the release of the games, there was a lot of controversy. No!
Bye-bye.
There was a lot of controversy because, the files had leaked and people were finding that Game Freak was reusing assets from Sun and Moon, which was not very cool for a lot of people. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're doing their best with what they got. Who knows how tight that, the release schedule could be and blah, blah, blah. And I was just defending them. And, then the games came out. And you know what? I enjoyed him. I enjoyed them for what they. No! Stop!
Give it up,
falling.
Nick. Give it up. Ain't gonna happen.
All right. Well, then you talk about the games.
Look, man. I think they were kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Besides my main man right here. Honestly, I don't really have any intentions of going. I mean, I did beat it twice. I mean, I beat both Sword and Shield. So, I've done it twice already. And usually, second time through, as we've seen in the past, it goes a lot higher. But, no, it pretty much stayed the same. It was just kind of, I don't want to say lame, but not very exciting. Because, the legendaries were whatever. The hop was stupid. The team Rose or whatever was super predictable. It's just I don't know, man.
Oh, like the chairman being the bad guy?
Yeah, of course he would be the bad guy. And then it wasn't until, I think, the DLCs where it actually kind of got pretty cool.
Yeah.
But base Sword and Shield, yeah, pretty weak.
Yeah, I remember enjoying it for what it was. First, we got Galarian variants of certain Pokemon. Galarian, Rapidash, and Ponyta are great additions. We got Galarian Meowth and Berserker, which I think are okay.
Or terrible.
Yeah. I feel like the music was pretty good and the character designs were fun. Marnie is one of my favorite rivals just because I like that she has her own fan club, even though she's really quiet and I don't know. I will say I do kind of have a bone to pick with Game Freak, not for the bad looking trees, not for Dynamaxing being kind of a niche gimmick, but I have a bone to pick with the amount of fucking psychic and fairy types they threw into Galar. Because here's the thing. Bede, I think it's Bede. Your rival goes on a journey where he uses predominantly psychic type Pokemon to essentially being recruited as the new fairy type gym leader of the region, which means that most of his team have to be hybrid fairy psychic types. So you got Galarian, Rapidash, and Ponyta. You got Hatterene Hatterini. I don't know how to pronounce its name. You got Gardevoir, and both of the legendaries are fairy types. So it's like you got a lot of fairy types. Or no, they're both steel types. Sorry. Yours was a fairy type, steel fairy. And then mine was steel fighting. So anyway, I don't know. I like the Pokédex for the most part. I love the gym battle music. The gym, the house music is really good. The actual raids were fine, but yeah, the DLC they were cool. I think story wise, I didn't give a shit. I liked that they basically let you raise and evolve one of the legendaries like in the DLC, and you basically in the what's it, the dojo.
Yeah, Mustard's Dojo.
Yeah, you go through it with only Kubfu, and you basically go through a training arc where then it evolves into Urshifu at the very end. I liked the Galarian birds in the Crown Tundra DLC. I thought that was really fucking cool. Yeah, and I liked in the story bit in the Crown Tundra where the dad that you end up interacting with, he gets like mind controlled by
they were funny games. I'll give them that.
Yeah, they had a lot of humor to them.
Game.
And you know what? I'm gonna say it. I think I really like Leon as a champion. I think he's a fun character. And the fact that his signature Pokemon isn't a Galarian Pokemon is interesting. The fact that it's a Charizard is kind of whack, because like Charizard already gets enough love as it is. But anyway, I definitely don't think they're my favorite main series games. They're not even my favorite main series games on the Switch, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Either way, the next games that we have to talk about, surprisingly, is Mystery Dungeon.
Which I went ham on for a while.
Yeah, me too.
But then, same thing happens with the originals where it's like, once you beat the story and like you start evolving, that's when it gets kind of boring.
Yeah. Well, because you go around recruiting all of the legendaries.
Yeah, but that was always a nightmare, even back in the day.
Oh, especially back in the day when you had to like recruit Kyogre, you had to go through his dungeon like 75 floors every time, and there wasn't even a guarantee that you would recruit it at the end when you beat him. So it's like that shit kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But no, I remember there were a couple of weeks where I was just playing that game for most of the time. I liked getting to do the personality quiz again. The story was okay, but I think if they end up remaking Explorers of Space and Time, or Time and Darkness, sorry, those are gonna sell really well. I'm gonna enjoy those. But as for remaking the originals, I don't know. There was nostalgia to it for sure, like going back to the base. And isn't that the one where you evolve at the waterfall?
Yes.
With Whiscash?
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah, but other than that, pretty unremarkable. Or not unremarkable, but it's just like, yeah, they were good. Nothing groundbreaking.
Along with the other remakes with the Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, dude, the Diamond and Pearl remakes, I will say those were probably a little bit more disappointing, just by a hair. Because first of all, it was top down again, which is fine. But instead of doing like the Link's Awakening thing, where they actually spent a lot of time making the world look cool and good and like a playset, it's just like I don't know.
It was kind of like with the GameCube with that adapter where you can like plug your Game Boy game into it.
Yeah,
and it's on the TV. It's like the same shit. It's like plug in your DS games and then just playing on the TV.
Yeah.
You know.
The changes that they made were cool. I think the underground is just as fun as it used to be. Maybe if it's not just as fun, then it's pretty much like just a little bit less fun, only because you don't have the stylus to break open the rock anymore when you're digging. You can have Pokemon follow behind you, which is cool, except their size, their proportions aren't accurate. So like you could have a Torterra be the same size as you, which I know that's kind of what they did in the old games, but it just looks weird when they're 3D models and they look like they're supposed to be bigger. But whatever. Yeah, dude, I don't remember anything about. I remember Cynthia still being kind of hard to beat. For me, I think it was just my team. But yeah, dude, Cynthia still holds up. Yeah, the meme where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start a Gen 4 game and use a different team, but instead you're just using like Staraptor, your starter, Buizel. Bless you.
Oh, yeah, kurva.
Yeah, that still kind of remains true. I think I used a very similar team on my playthrough. I forget if I had a Leafeon or a Glaceon, but anyway. Yeah, again, nothing to write home about. I don't think I'm ever going to play those games again. But yeah. Speaking of games that I might not ever play again ever, I played Pokemon Unite really, really hard and really intensely for a very long time. It's basically League of Legends, but with Pokemon. And it's super fun. And they had Cinderace in the game. They still have Cinderace in the game, and they've added a bunch of my favorite Pokemon like Scizor, and they got Decidueye in there now. They got a couple of Eevee evolutions, and it's pretty good. I haven't logged in and played in a very long time, but it was basically I was also playing Smite a lot, which is also kind of like, it's a MOBA, but it's from the back third person perspective, and you play as gods from different pantheons. And I was like, oh, so Pokemon Unite is just going to be Pokemon Smite, and it was. The matches are super quick, and the strategy is fun for the most part. But if you solo queue, it's that much harder to win than if you're in a party with someone and you're like actively communicating with them. I don't know. So I stopped playing it eventually, and I think you might have played a round or two, right, David?
Yeah, it was not my thing. I don't like it.
Which is fair. MOBAs aren't for everyone. But now we get to the real meat and potatoes of this video, at least for me. Or not video, but, this section. Pokemon Legends, which I am hoping becomes a series in the future, and they just use different regions. But, dude, I remember the hype that I felt at the end of whatever that direct was for the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and they revealed this game. I pissed myself. So Pokemon Legends Arceus, I have converted, but I know some people still say Arceus because that's, the way that everyone grew up saying it.
Yeah.
Is to date one of the most experimental Pokemon games like ever. Like the one that still remains or retains a similar formula, but it's set in like ancient times. You're in the Sinnoh region, which is called Hisui. And you are basically the person making the first Sinnoh Pokédex. Which it's its own, like the concept itself is fucking nuts. It's such a cool idea. And then you factor in the aspect of you have to craft all of your items by getting supplies and finding supplies, and the battle system is really different. It's like you don't like, it's still turn based, but like, I don't know, how would you describe it?
It's like it's just very quick,
Yeah.
Usually, one or two moves, it's over. Everyone gets XP. You just launch Pokeballs. You can just fucking whip them.
Yeah, dude, you can finally aim and throw a Pokeball and catch a Pokemon without having to battle it in this
Yeah.
game. It is I would say the emphasis in this game isn't on battling but on catching, and
It
it
is. I
really
mean,
does reinforce the gotta catch 'em all tagline.
yeah, I mean the whole point is like you got to catch a shitload of them to build up the research, and then you literally need all of them to like get the like real ending. So,
Yeah, it feels like the most complete Pokemon game we've had in a really long time. And it's so good that even Donkey, video game Donkey, who shits on Pokemon every chance he gets, he's like, yeah, this is a pretty good game.
yeah.
He considers it Pokemon's second game,
Yeah.
because they had the originals and then they have this one. But yeah, dude, and then you have all of the Hisuian forms, because like you can't make new Pokemon, but you can make ancient forms. And this game reminded me why I love Cyndaquil so much, because Hisuian Typhlosion, dude, it's so cool. I love Typhlosion, and they threw your boy back in it, which was such a wild. It's so wild to think that you're playing with a Rowlet in the Sinnoh region. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then you got Hisuian Decidueye. You end up catching all 3 starters by the end of the game. You end up finding the Sinnoh starters in the wild, because like that makes sense. You know, how else does that Professor Birch, or Rowan, sorry, how else does he get those Pokemon in time, for Diamond and Pearl? Yeah, there are feral Pokemon. There are, alpha Pokemon. Is that what they call them? Yeah. And this game has, like, story-wise, it feels very much like Mystery Dungeon, where you're a newcomer that's thrust. It's basically an isekai where you get thrown into a strange world and then you befriend all of the townsfolk and, you assimilate into their society. And I'm going to go on record as saying that this Pokemon game has the best final villain fight of any game. Technically, it's the post-game stuff, like after you finish the main story, but when you fight, spoiler alert, Volo, who is Cynthia's ancestor, he not only uses her team, but he is an actual villain who wants to get to Arceus, and he's teamed up with Giratina to do so. So you have to fight his six Pokemon team. Then you have to fight Arceus, and then if you can even get through that without your team totally dying, then as Giratina is falling back for the first time and fainted, its eyes glow red, the music changes, and then it turns into its origin form. So it's basically fighting an 8 Pokemon team.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are legendaries. And it's so rewarding when you finally beat him, only to realize that Arceus still won't let you upstairs because you haven't caught every Pokemon.
Did you ever end up doing that?
No, I still have to do that.
Damn.
Yeah,
that Arceus fight was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I think I watched you play it for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, but honestly, I think, nostalgia notwithstanding, main series games notwithstanding, this might be my favorite Pokemon game of all time. Like, from an objective point of view, I think it just does so much right. And with, Heart Gold and Soul Silver and, like, Sun and Moon, like, they have their technical limitations and, you can only play them on, like, handheld systems. But this game, Pokemon Legends, it's really fucking good. And I think it might be my favorite game of 2022.
Yo, let them drop a Legends Rayquaza. I'm gonna fucking snap someone's neck.
Yeah, dude. If either Legends Rayquaza or people have been thinking that there's going to be a Legends Celebi in, like, Ancient Johto, which I would also really fuck with. Because here's the thing. There has been speculation that... So there's a new Pokemon game that comes out every November, which may or may not be a mistake to do. But, I'm no businessman. And this November, either we're getting more DLC for Scarlet and Violet, or people have been saying that we might get Let's Go Johto. Because we haven't had a Let's Go game in a little while, and Pokemon Go is still popular. Plus, there have been a lot of Johto Pokemon in the Scarlet and Violet Pokédex. So who knows? But yeah, dude, that is Pokemon Generation 8. And honestly, it's kind of been a wild ride to finally get here. As we are currently in the very beginning stages of Pokemon Generation 9, we probably won't have much to talk about in the way of Pokemon next video other than just Scarlet and Violet.
I mean, it's literally it. I mean, we're not even going to call it Gen 9. It's just Scarlet and Violet.
It's just Scarlet and Violet, yeah. And then eventually in like 2 years we'll be able to talk about Gen 9. But for now, that kind of does it for our Pokemon Generations journey, but also for the episode of this podcast. So, thanks
just in
everyone
time, 'cause
for
it's bedtime. Jesus.
It is bedtime. Yeah, you got to work at what time tomorrow?
5.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, I won't keep you any longer then. So, with that being said, Happy New Year. Thank you guys for sticking around with us for 22 episodes. I really do think that it's kind of a sign that our 22nd episode ended, when we're talking about 2022, like it just ended. It's our first, of the new year. I think it's very cool, and I think you guys are very cool. And David, I think you're pretty cool too. So,
whoa, me?
There you go. Yeah. Here's to another successful year. Our first full year of the podcast is coming up in February, I think. I honestly don't remember when our first episode was, but
I don't either.
Yeah, but we're getting there. So, with that being said, Happy New Year. Have a healthy and safe start to 2023. We'll see you with plenty more clips and episodes and highlights and stuff in the next 12 months. But, until next time, I've been Nick Scarpinato.
Oh, I'm David Kapusha Cars. Wow, I'm too tired to
I cannot believe we forgot that. This is our 2010 Porsche
Tanabata.
Panamera.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Tanabata. And you've been listening to the Too Bad We Didn't Get Into Cars podcast. So have a good night. And David, you have to get up early to go sell unregistered guns to children.
Exactly. They got to come to me before school. That's why I got to start at 5, you feel me? So that they can buy the guns, get back into bed before their parents even find out.
Yep. Slip their their gun underneath their pillow like it's a tooth.